Ready, Freddie? I need some light. I need some sun in my life is what I need.
There's the audio. There's the video. Alright, we should be good now. There we go. Cool. We're ready to rock and roll, man.
Hello, friends and brothers. Welcome to Masonic Improvement. Dennis Yates, as always, with my junior co-host, Justin Jones. Did you like that? Did you like that post this week, Mr. Jones and me?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I
like
just
that
had
one.
to do it.
I was actually thinking we need to have a talk because I'm not sure I can have a co-host that puts baked beans on potato chips like that. That's just not right. I've never seen anyone do that. Like the hot dog, I could get look like there's pico on it, fine. Bread.
Absolutely,
I grew
great.
up eating wrapping my hot dogs in bread. That's fine. I get that. But once you start putting baked beans on potato chips or any
That
kind of
is
beans,
not baked beans. Those are pork and beans. There's a
even
difference.
worse. Even worse.
Oh, don't make me laugh.
No one puts pork and beans on.
Oh my God.
I legitimately thought maybe you were messing with. This was like a James Kirkpatrick post. I was like, is this guy just trying to kind of gross us out?
I may have to stop doing this tonight because my ribs are hurting so bad. That hurts to laugh.
David Lawson's
But man,
here.
that's a tradition.
David Lawson's here. He said he didn't get it either. So it's not just
In fact, my wife bought those things specifically for 4th of July for me because she knows it is so important to my 4th of July that I have those things.
pork and okay. All right, man.
Pork and beans
That's
on
gotta
my
be
Lay's
like-
potato chips.
Where'd you grow up at? Florida?
You know,
It's gotta
that's
be a
not where I grew up, but I have been there.
You were too long in Florida, I guess. That's like
Right, too much sun.
Florida man puts pork and beans on his potato chips.
Well, you know it. I'm just gonna say, don't knock it till you try it. Until you try it, you really cannot.
I stomach a lot of strange things, man. Like I like kombucha, I like sushi. I got a strong stomach.
You can't even say sushi like it's supposed to be sushi. Look at this. He's talking to me about American cuisine.
This guy over
and he
here
can't even say sushi.
He put baked beans on his sushi. Pork and beans.
Yeah,
Pork and
I
beans
would if
sushi.
it made it better.
So big
Yeah, my
news
wife looked at me funny the first time I did it too, and now she likes that's the way she eats it now. You can't. Once you go that way, there's no going back.
Yeah. So big news out of Grandma's this week, huh?
Yeah, kudos to Jim, and we finally got past that. Now there's a lot of tension because a lot feel that we haven't gotten past it because nobody apologized for the other side of things. The reaction. There was an apology for the action, but no apology for the reaction.
Yeah. I was discussing this with someone earlier today, and I mean, it's good that we moved past it, right? But
Right.
let me back up because it's good that the charges have been dismissed. Have we moved past it? I don't think so, because the fact stands that a lot of unnecessary drama, a lot of unnecessary divisive drama was stirred
Right.
up that we had to just kind of sit on pins and needles for 7 months until it got resolved. And so,
Right.
it's we're not past it because we're it kind of put a lot of people. It raised a lot of eyebrows, right? And it's going to be on everybody's mind for a few years, I think.
Yes.
Not necessarily like in a negative way. Like we're not going to be griping about it as much, but we everything that happens, we're going to be watching through a different lens, if that makes sense.
Well, and that's why I put that post on there that, I've seen a lot of people saying, let's move forward and this and that. And I'm all for it because I love Jim. I know he loves the fraternity just as much as I do, if not more. and we stand for a lot of the same things. And so I support him 100%. I'm excited, and I'm gonna support what he wrote in that letter, which was his letter, not Grand Lodge's letter. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna support what he wrote because of my love for him, and we're gonna move forward on this. However, I will never forget what happened afterwards, and everything that has happened up until this point. In our whole jurisdiction has been divided, and I'm not happy about that at all.
I think people.
I'll be right back. I got to get some medicine, guys. I fell off a ladder last week, and I can barely move.
He was trying to climb the corporate ladder. Missed it wrong.
And they kicked me right the hell off.
Yeah.
They said I had too much of an opinion.
I'll just say while he's doing that, I think a lot of people get forgiveness and forgetfulness. They get these two things mixed up, right? It's the popular saying, forgive or forget. And that's very noble if you can forgive and forget. But I think it's not always wise. I think it's good to forgive. You should definitely forgive, especially someone.
Absolutely. If somebody asks you for forgiveness, yes, you should absolutely give forgiveness.
I mean, if you're a Christian, it's a Christian thing to do. Otherwise, if you're just it's a gentlemanly thing to do. It's a noble thing to do. Forgiveness is great. However, forgetfulness is not a noble trait. It's not something we should idealize. Forgiveness to me means I'm not gonna. You okay? Forgiveness means we're gonna move past it, right? But that doesn't mean I'm gonna forget what you did, because I need to know it leads you to making bad decisions in the future. For example, we had drama at one of my lodges several years ago, and the guy left our lodge in anger, dramatically. 3 times he demitted from our lodge and then came back and asked to come back in. And everyone forgave and forgot, right? It's good to forgive, right? But I forgive the guy. I forgive the guy for trying to fight me in lodge, but I'm not going to forget it. Definitely not going to forget it. And my decisions, if there's anything involving him moving forward, are going to be with that knowledge. And it's because we were so eager to forgive and forget. I mean, 1 time, sure, I can get that. 2 times, let him back 2 times, I don't think so. 3 times, that's just ridiculous. And every time it created drama. And the lodge is in bad shape still from it.
Right. Right.
David Lawson says your picture earlier only needed spam on it with the potato chips and everything. Oh. Yep. I grew up eating spam, and it still makes me nauseous thinking about it. We always cooked
I can only eat spam if you fried it.
Yeah, we fried it up. Put pineapple. What was it? No, peaches. They put like little peach slices on it, and then fried it up.
Oh my God! Don't make me laugh. That's so bad. What's
the reason? It was like a chaser. So you like eat the spam and then eat the peach real quick.
Oh, chaser. Yeah, next, you'll be shaping it into a pig and putting an apple in its mouth.
You wrap it up and hold your nose and eat it real quick, and then put the peach in your mouth to get the flavor out.
Well, to be honest with you, even when I was younger, when I first started out in my young adulthood, being broke like everybody else in the world, that was kind of a staple. We had a lot of macaroni and cheese and a lot of spam. Mm-hmm. And we would put spam in the macaroni and cheese and eat that until we could afford to put the canned ham in there.
You could tell like who grew up in the 80s and 90s with a lot of money, and probably the 70s too. Just by the stuff they grew up eating. Like I had fried bologna.
Did you eat deviled ham?
Deviled ham? What is that? Like what?
Deviled ham.
What is that?
Pimento cheese.
Oh no, I didn't. I ate pimento cheese.
It comes in a little can.
No, never did that. But like
and the little wieners, the little weenie things.
I never had a problem with that, Dennis. Sorry.
God, Nugget, you gotta stop. I'm gonna have to get off here. This is,
oh my! Oh, the little Vienna sausages. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, we had those.
They were from Italy, Vienna.
Like the hot dogs were with like just the white bread, just the white sandwich bread,
Yep.
and then oh geez, yeah, stuff like that.
My wife being Hispanic, they used tortilla shells or tortillas, so
Oh
they had
wow,
hot dogs with tortillas.
yeah.
We actually still do that. We get sausage links and use corn tortilla or flour tortilla
Hmm.
with mustard and ketchup and pico, like you saw in the picture with
Yeah.
except we use sausage link, spicy sausage.
I tell
It's
you what,
good. You
I
ought
tell
to
you
try
what
it.
sounds crazy, but if you take it like a full banana, right, and wrap that up in a flour tortilla, that's good.
Hmm.
That's good. Yeah, hamburger
Yes.
helper. Yeah, Austin's talking about hamburger helper. Yeah.
Oh man, you're making me hungry.
Now hamburger, but I could eat that
Those,
now. I wouldn't mind
that
hamburger
was
helper.
yeah, that was those are staple foods in my house. So that's like comfort food for me. You put hamburger helper in front of me, and you've just won my heart.
Yeah,
Yeah, you replace green beans with hamburger helper and lodge, and I'll be
yeah.
there.
Really, the perfect fundraiser for a lodge is a green bean helper. So instead of
Oh
hamburger
my
helper,
goodness,
it's just a mix you put in green beans, and you get all kinds of flavor.
that would be a good fundraiser. Is
Green bean.
a green bean cook off, and see how creative people can get.
Oh man, I've been to a lot of lodges, and green beans are pretty much the same.
I know.
Mountain Lightning instead of Mountain Dew. Dude, I had uh like all the off brand stuff. Doctor not Mr. Not Mr. Pibb, but like Thunder Cola and Dr. Crush and
Yes.
just any kind
Yes.
of off brand crap you could think of. Yeah, I drink mostly at my grandma's house. I mean a lot of that was my grandma. But
Yeah, because you didn't even get it at home. We were so poor.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, we had
I know.
My mom was addicted to Dr. Pepper, so we always had Dr. Pepper. We had the real thing at my mom's, but I'd go to my grandma's
Mm.
house on the weekends a lot, and Dad'd be like Thunder Cola with fried bologna. But like,
That's me.
I was actually thinking
I
earlier.
was so mad.
Go ahead, Dr. Thunder. Yeah,
Speaking of, real quick. Speaking of, I was so mad when I was 19. My mom and dad had gotten into a fight, and I let him come spend the night with me a couple of nights. And I'm in my own apartment, my own everything. I bought my own condiments. I had real mayonnaise in there. He eats my mayonnaise and bologna and replaces it with the off-brand mayonnaise, and I got so mad. It's like, dude, this is not your house. This is my house.
did you ever get the bologna that had like the red stuff around the edge?
Oh heck
Like you had
yeah!
to peel that
And
off.
you pull it through your teeth and
Oh,
to get it all out. Absolutely.
did you ever feed it to a dog? Like just like the whole slice. Like
Oh my
like
god, that's so bad.
when I, so when I was a kid, it was a long time ago. I was a kid. I'm not telling anybody to do this, but if you take like the whole bologna with the red thing on it, and just give it to the dog. Usually they'll go use the bathroom and they'll walk around. And you'll see that red thing hanging out of their butt, and you just come up and yank it out, and that dog jump. They'll jump so high every
Ow!
time. Like what the heck?
Oh my
Some
god,
dogs will
that's
follow
so
you around
bad.
after that though, so you got to be careful. They'll think you're best friends. But
Oh gosh.
it just surprises them. I was a mean kid.
Oh. Well, no, you don't know what. I got a blowgun when I was 11, and I wasn't allowed to go and shoot it outside because we lived in the city at the time.
Mhm.
And I had a black cat. The poor cat, its tail was crooked. It was like this after a while because I would blow darts at it and hit its tail.
Oh, like dart darts
And
or the little talking about the little
that's
stunners or like the actual darts?
real
You just
dart. It's a
tell.
blowgun. That's cruel.
Austin says he still
But
gets that blown. Austin, just eat the whole thing next time. You'll no surprises. I promise you.
That's real baloney, man.
It
It's
is
real
real bologna.
baloney.
I'm talking about
If you don't,
the little red, like I guess when they cut it.
yeah, that means it's
Oh yeah, it means it's
packaged
the
and
real deal.
sealed and
I'll be
yeah.
honest, dude. Like bologna, I know it's not real meat, right? It's something, but it's not real food. But
Oh
I
yeah,
like it. Like I enjoy
yeah,
it. It's a good flavor.
pork butts, pig lips, all the best part.
Yeah, toenails.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Intestines, yeah.
yeah. But it's
I love
good.
it.
It's good. But yeah, put some. I mean, like Like sometimes
Well, it's kind of like
you just want those old lunches. Like give me a some white Wonder Bread or the off-brand stuff,
yes,
the David's brand or whatever. Give me some
right.
bologna and some government cheese, some mustard, some some off-brand potato chips, and
Yes, take you back.
yeah, yeah,
That's funny. Yeah, it is kind of interesting we talk like this because so often we talk about, the good things in life that we do through Freemasonry.
yeah,
And, I'm not gonna lie, man. I often I regularly have 100 $150 meals for myself. And that's no lie. But I came from where there was no way in hell that
hmm
and I earned my right to be able to do that. And I don't have to feel one bit bad about treating myself to a steak that my parents would have never had.
yeah.
And I don't have to feel bad one bit. It makes them proud that I'm able to do that to them.
So I waited till later in life than most of my people my age, to have kids, because I wanted to be in a position where, like, granted, we never had to do without when I was a kid, right? Like, we never did without. I didn't always get everything I
Right.
wanted, but that's okay.
Right.
But we never did without. But I wanted to be in a position where I could provide whatever I wanted for my kids, right?
Yes.
And so I waited till I was older, and I was in that position. And now I don't worry, because I know for a fact I'm doing this. They're growing up too soft now, right? Because, like, I mean, they're probably in their rooms watching tablets right now. Like, I never, when
Right.
it was bedtime when I was a kid, it was bedtime. I didn't have a Game Boy. I didn't have a T. I mean, I
Right.
don't have TVs in the room, but I didn't have any. I didn't have anything to keep me entertained in my room except for my toys, right?
Yeah, I feel bad for Sarah because we were just having this discussion earlier. We were talking about what she wanted from Santa.
hmm
And I said, I'll be damned if Santa brings her anything that's a handheld game
hmm
because I just don't want her growing up that way with something in her hand all the time. She doesn't have a phone either.
Yeah,
And well, she has one of my old phones, but it doesn't have data. It's for taking pictures and stuff.
yeah,
And but that's it. It's not for all the apps. It's not for all the bullshit. I just don't believe in this.
yeah. How old is she?
She will be 8 in 29 days, she said.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, Mason will be 8 in October, I think. The reason I ask is we may have to talk behind the scenes later, because it was I don't remember what they were doing, but he was asking about her again. Like I told you before, like they're asking about
Right,
it, and
right.
I don't remember why. It might have been my daughter that brought her up. I don't know, but we're talking about going somewhere, and they're like, "Is Sarah going to be there?" It's like, no, she's not going to be there. And Mason's like, Mason, I'm not messing with you. He's like, oh, I didn't know who he's talking about at first. He's like, she's a girl, she's my age, and she's beautiful. And I'm like, oh,
Oh my God.
okay. we have to arrange something behind the scenes later.
That is
No,
so funny.
yeah,
And you know what's super scary though about that? Which I'm delighted that these are Masonic upbrought boys.
hmm
But just about 30 minutes ago, Barry Batter's or William Batter's son called William. Not William. I William Batter's son called.
hmm
I'm not gonna mention his name, but well, it's Travis. Everybody knows it. But anyways, Travis calls and he says, "May I speak to Sarah?" First, first his dad texts me, "Is it okay for Sarah to talk on the phone?" What's this boy doing wanting to call my daughter? And so, anyways, I say, okay, yeah. And so he calls, polite as can be, and says, "Hello, this is Travis. May I speak to Sarah?" And it's like, golly, kid, of course you can. You're doing it right.
Man,
And
I'm gonna
and so
tell
I let
Mason's
it.
got competition.
You better, because I hand her the phone, and he immediately says something about he was looking for a sword, a diamond sword or something, and she goes, "Did you lose it yesterday at the party?" He said, "No, I was just looking at it." I said, "Oh, he was just looking for something to say. He didn't know what to say."
Got you.
And so, oh my God, I'm gonna laugh. So right after that, he said, I heard through the phone, "Sarah, I miss you. That's why I called." It's like, oh my goodness. And she said, "I miss you too." It's like, oh no.
Isn't that cute when kids can actually say what's on their mind? And then as they get older, we get afraid to say like what's actually on our heart. Isn't that
Right.
crazy?
Right.
Yeah, Austin says, "Isn't that the goal of good parents for you to live better?" Yeah, it is. It is. I think it's cyclical, right? Like my parents tried
Yeah.
that. My parents tried, like my grandparents were poor, right? Zach Smith's here. Good to see you, Zach. My grandparents were poor
Hey.
on both sides, right? But they weren't like. I mean, they were poor, and then my parents wanted to improve that, right? And so they did,
Right.
and I work to improve that also, but I think it's cyclical because I think my grandparents grew up to be a lot more independent people
Right.
than my parents, and I think my parents were more independent than my generation, and
Right.
and I don't know independence is the right word, but softer. They're softer. And
Right.
my kids, I see it. They're gonna, and I'm doing everything I can to prevent it. But it's kind of they're growing up soft, right?
Right.
And it's cyclical. It's like the old saying, like hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men, and then it goes back to weak men creating hard times, right? I don't think there's any way to avoid that, but I see that, and it's not just my kids. I mean, I'm talking about my kids because it's my experience, but I see that generationally. Like I teach middle school, I see it already in middle school kids.
Right.
So it's just the way of things, unfortunately. But yeah, it is.
My
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it is the goal. I think as we say we want to leave the world a better place than it was when we got here, right? And we want to create better situations for our kids, regardless of how good they were when we grew up.
Right.
We want to create better
Right.
situations for our kids. Yeah, but we're
Well,
gonna
and that's and the mentality in that is and there's two different ways. If you look at um the dynamics of I hate to say demographics, but if you look at the way people that are in the lower income bracket that stay in the lower income bracket think, as opposed to people that are in the
Mm-hmm.
middle to higher income bracket,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's generational poverty.
Oh yeah.
So in their mind, they grow up, wanting, think trying to find the way to maneuver in poverty. Whereas some people, they grow up with the mindset of, we've got to build upon what our last generation did. And so, yeah, my mindset was, and granted, my boys, they had a pretty tough time because I was 19 when my first son was born.
Mm-hmm.
19, baby raising a baby.
So Charles Smith.
But I was working hard. I supported my family the whole time, and they had a lot of luxuries. They've had a lot of poor situations, and they've had a lot of very, very nice situations.
Mm-hmm.
But the mindset, though, was that we're going to do better than what I had.
Yep.
And then you're going to do better than what I had. And you're going to increase generationally instead of learning to live within that generational poverty mentality. We're not going to do that. We're going to do better.
So you
So
bring
I
it,
don't,
you bring
and
something. Go ahead. Sorry.
and I'm just going to wrap it up real quick. My youngest son, he's a kid. Oh my God. And it's so funny. He used to stand up in the bedroom or up in the game room in the certain corner to where I couldn't see up this side of the stairs. We had two stairways in this house, and they both went up to the top floor to the game room. And I couldn't see on either direction. I couldn't see him, and he would just stand there when it was time to clean. My older son would do all the work because he wanted to go outside and play. My younger son would just stand there hidden in plain sight for an hour, 2 hours, just stand there because he didn't want to work.
Wow.
Still to this day, he doesn't really, change his own oil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He will take it to a dealership. But his mentality is, Dad, I would rather earn the money to pay somebody else to do it than me do it.
Yeah.
And that's okay with me. That's okay, because that's his mentality, is he would rather make the money to pay somebody else than to have to do it himself. And that's okay.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. I'd rather do it too. I'd rather pay someone to do it. I don't think I'd take it to a dealership. I don't trust them. But yeah, I'd rather pay someone else. You were talking about the generational poverty thing, and I want to tie that kind of back to Freemasonry in a roundabout way. But
I see where you're going with it already.
Whenever you have the generational poverty, you these families, and I know it because I see it in my family. You'll have a few successful people that come out of it, right? But what will happen is the family will say, "Oh, he's too good for us. He didn't hang out with us anymore. He's a snob now," right? That's because it goes back to what we talk about: iron sharpening iron, right? You're the sum of the people you surround yourself with. So if you're surrounding yourself with people with this generational poverty mentality, this victim mentality, which is often the same thing, then you're not going to go anywhere, right? And so we often talk about at the lodge, like, well, we can't. Why don't we ever attract like the judges and the lawyers and the doctors and the congressmen and the senators and all these people anymore? Well, because they don't want to sit around with a bunch of people with poverty mentalities, right? They don't want to sit around and hear the woe is me and the complaining and just ignorant offhand comments and in some places there's the racism, and then you got they don't want to deal with anything like that. It's so it definitely goes back to that West Gate, but we have to do better. We have to do better, because what will happen if one doctor joins, right? If we're not in our A game, right? If the lodge doesn't look nice, if we're not the kind of people that we really should strive to be, his friends aren't going to join, and he's not going to hang around. Why would he hang around? How's it going to benefit him? How's it going to be? And I know we don't join for monetary motives, but how's it going to join? How's it going to help his practice? How's it going to help him as a doctor to be associated with a bunch of people that sit around making fart jokes and eat hot dogs?
And how's it going to benefit him to be the only one that always puts the $1,000 donation when everybody else throws in $1?
Yeah.
That's. How does that help him?
Because what happens?
Same thing.
Say like the lawyer, like a lawyer joins. Hey, can I ask you a question, a legal question? Blah 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 blah. Right? They don't come here to do it. They're not coming there to work. Right? They may hope as a product of their association, maybe get some clients or something, but that's they don't go there to do work. And
they definitely don't want to go there to do pro bono.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is what everybody wants in Freemasonry. They want everybody to do everything for free.
Yeah.
So, if you don't, then you're not charitable. You're not, which is ludicrous.
Yeah. Then with that square discount. The doctor's lawyers will not keep coming every time they see someone has their hand out. Yeah, absolutely. And really, I'll challenge any lodge to do this. Look at your community, right? And say, here's all the doctors, here's all the lawyers. I mean, granted, we don't only want those kind of people, but we often note that we don't attract a certain type of people, and those are the kind of people that historically were attracted to the lodge. Right. Go to your community and identify these people. Who are the doctors? Who are the lawyers? Who would we want to be members? Superintendents, principals. Who would we want to be members of our lodge? And then look around your lodge. Sit in your next stated meeting, right? And listen to the business that gets brought up. Listen to the arguments and debate discussion that goes nowhere, right? Look at the ceiling tiles. Look at the carpet. Look at the dinner that's being served. Smell your lodge. Sniff it. Right? Is this the kind of
the sniff test?
The sniff test. Would you be proud?
You're men. You know how to test.
Would you be proud to bring these people into your building? And if you were one of these people, would this be something you wanted to associate with? Right? Probably not.
Well, here's another question. Here's another question. If you and think about this. Think about the people that always. Well, think about your charter members. And I say this because I wrote a paper. Guys, I've been just pushing out papers lately. That's Justin. I've had him proof several of them, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. But think about your charter members, what they contributed to get that lodge going and to build that original lodge building and to create the stack of funds that kept it going until you got here, because it's been decreasing ever since, right? Mm-hmm. So it had to have been astronomical on their heads to do this. Are you doing the same thing that they did for your lodge?
Nope.
Are you really building? I don't care how many good things you're doing in your lodge. I don't care. Because if you compare apples to apples and you say, and even if you have a large bank account that creates interest, that came from somebody else. So let's freeze those assets right there. Now, and then say, is your lodge on its own merit creating the same wealth that will equate to that over so many years? If you're not building to that same level, you're not building to the same level of your founding fathers.
Yep.
Those founding fathers were all community leaders. And here we are, we're wanting to put and I'm going to upset some people, but just hear me out all the way through. We want to put shift workers in leadership positions in the lodge, in elected positions to run our lodge, to run our business. Mm-hmm. They have no idea how to do that. They don't have the big picture experience.
Yeah.
They don't know how. Now, if they're going to officer leadership training, they're learning those skills. They're leveling up. Mm-hmm. They're doing what they got to do to become better men.
Yep.
So yes, they absolutely belong there because they have the mindset to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got the guy that's okay with his job and doesn't care to do anything else and thinks he's gonna blow it out of the water at lodge and do a great job being a worshipful master, I don't think so.
Yeah. That's
not the kind of person that built our fraternity. We have to be that kind of person. We have to start realizing that kind of person that built our fraternity is not what we're doing. So if we're not making positive steps to do the same things today that they were doing back then, we're not doing anything positive. We're just treading water.
Well,
still, no matter how many good things you're doing.
If we're willing to stir the pot and risk making people angry, I'll take my turn.
Since I've already done it.
So we are not, I'd say to an extent we're elitist, but we don't consist of the elite, if that makes sense. Like, we're not your conspiracy theory elite organization, right? But we should be somewhat elitist in our expectations of our members and our new members. And what I mean by that, this is going to be very unpopular. When you're investigating somebody to join your lodge, I'm not saying look if they're poor or rich. That's not what I'm saying. But try to get an idea of how they manage their finances. And the reason I say that is because as soon as they join your lodge and become Master Masons, They have a say. They can raise their hand and vote and stand up and speak on how the lodge manages its finances. And if you have a lodge full of people who cannot manage their money at home, but suddenly think they're experts and want to have a voice in how the lodge should manage its money, you're financially doomed. And I've seen that now in one of my lodges. It's very important. I mean, you got treasurers like Dennis is talking about, like treasurers that like they can't even manage money at home. Why are they in charge of the money at the lodge?
Right. If you live your life based on what your paycheck has in it and the bills you have to pay every month, that's not managing your money.
Mm-hmm.
That's being a slave to your money.
Yep.
If you have spreadsheets and budgets of what you anticipate to spend, what you plan on spending, and you're watching what you're spending and you're monitoring that,
Mm-hmm.
that's managing your money. Even if you have a down month or down year, for heaven's sake,
Mm-hmm.
it happens. But if you're actively doing the steps that it takes and you know where you stand at all times, that's a big difference from living paycheck to paycheck.
Yep.
And managing finances. The person who doesn't know how to do that does not need to be the treasurer.
And how do you know if most of the members of your lodge are living paycheck to paycheck? Look at how much money is in their bank account at the end of every Masonic year, because they're living year to year, right? They only raise the dues high as they need to offset the fundraising, and they only do what they need to pay the bills.
Right.
That's all they do.
Right. That's one of the points that we can also make, is that if you budget your life, you budget your money, you can budget in $500 a year dues. Even if they don't accept credit card monthly payments or whatever, which most of them do now to make it easier. And if you don't, you're a bad treasurer. You ought to be doing it. You're a bad secretary if you're not making sure the treasurer is putting that into place. Anyways, I'll get off that soapbox.
It's 40. It's if you can't put back, it's $41.60, right? Even if you can't send it directly to your lodge, right? Put it aside.
Put it in an account. That's what your spreadsheet is for. It's a chart of accounts so that you put it in. It goes into savings and it's earmarked. This is your chart of accounts, has all these different items, right?
Yep.
And it's earmarked for this, and this. So all this money goes into savings, but this little piece is only for dues.
Well, even
this little piece. Go ahead.
Even if your lodge doesn't take Square or something, right? So you can do it automatically. Go to the ATM, take out $45, $42 if you want to be more exact, and take it to your stated meeting and give it to the secretary. Or take it home and put it in a jar somewhere, right? Or like he's saying, make an account and have it go somewhere separate. You have options, right? $500 is a big check to write, but $42, I mean, you spend that on a night out.
When I was younger, before computers and stuff, I had envelopes. A lot of people did that back in the day. They would have a box full of envelopes, and they would have different names on them,
Mm-hmm.
and you would just put the money in the envelope, and then every month you would divide it up and put it into the envelope.
It's the Dave Ramsey approach, isn't it?
Well, yes, it is. Yes, it is. That's a way to get over financial issues as well.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, that was how a lot of people did it.
Yeah.
They put it in an envelope so that it was already spent. It was already spent because it was in that envelope.
Mm-hmm. When it's in your bank account, it's very tempting.
Right.
Zach's
credit cards made it that much easier.
Zach says you're not using your money right if you can't afford that price, if you can't handle that, and I agree. You might not go and eat out once, right? You might eat out one time less that month, every month, which I mean, frankly, it's probably healthier anyway, right? There's a way. It's usually when people try to argue against this because they can't find the value.
Right.
Let's
Well,
see.
and really, and that's what we've done is we've devalued the lodges. That's why, like as we, going full circle to where we were before, that's why we don't have the people in our lodges that we thought we should have in our lodges,
Yep.
because we've devalued the lodges and now nobody of substance wants to come in. Well, let me take that back,
Real
because
quick.
not everybody, substance doesn't equate to money. Money doesn't equate to substance. But people that expect more don't want to come in.
Zach
Go ahead.
Smith said, "Sorry, I haven't been very vocal. He appreciates that book, and he made a $42 donation. So definitely appreciate you, Zach. Always.
Oh,
I,
thanks,
I
man.
I was actually talking to Dennis about you the other day. I kind of don't think I'm being soft on you. I just
We miss you,
we missed you,
man.
man. I was like, have you heard from Zach? I haven't seen him in so long. So yeah. One of the commenters said, "Are you guys talking about donations or physical monies?" So we have dues. I don't know if you're a Mason or not, but we have dues, which are you got to pay a certain amount by the end of the Masonic year, right? And there's ways you can pay it out, or you can just write a check. And so we're talking about the alternatives. Most lodges, most members just write a check, right? But then when you start raising your dues to where they need to be, they still have that check mentality, right? So they don't see $40 a month. They see, oh, I got to write a $500 check now instead of a $200 check. And so it's important to understand the options we have. Yeah, we do it. We usually do it every Sunday around 9 o'clock Central Time. Usually they're pretty long. It's not going to be a long one tonight because Dennis is old and fragile. But
Dennis fell off a ladder last Wednesday, and Dennis is broken for real. I'm on
it,
serious medication.
it was a step stool. It was a step stool.
Oh my gosh. I wish it was. I landed, I catapulted myself, an anchor came out of the wall, and I catapulted myself onto an asphalt driveway. And it's an asphalt driveway, not a smooth anything. It hurt bad. And I hit my head and landed square on my back. I couldn't breathe for about a minute and a half, and I couldn't move for
Just knocked the
for
breath out of
about,
you.
yes, and I've never had that before. Not
Really?
like that. Yes,
Yeah.
I could not breathe, and it scared me to death because I was by myself.
Yeah. I fell
And
out of a few
so
trees as a kid.
I get up on my knees. I think I'm gonna die. I'm wondering how many internal organs did I damage, and so I just sit back and I just sit there for about an hour, and I'm trying to contemplate, okay, what am I gonna do next? And so I finally went to the hospital, and and they sent me home, and I still can't lay down flat.
Hmm.
I can't pick myself up. It feels like I have a right here. It feels like I have a shaft going through my chest right here and going out through my shoulder blade. And then I have, if I lift my arm, then I feel like I have an ice pick going in like this underneath my armpit, going into my chest. I can't take full breaths either. So Dennis is pretty roughed up right now, and I've never done that just from falling.
Yeah. Getting fragile, Dennis.
Sucks to be old.
Charles Smith asked if we had a chance to look at the Dewdrop lecture. Did you get that?
Uh-uh.
I didn't get a copy of it. I was looking through my emails right now.
What lecture?
The Dewdrop lecture that we were talking about during our last live. It's been about a. We haven't done it. We haven't done a. We haven't done a live in about a week and a half.
I think I tried to open that, and
Did you?
something happened.
Would you send it to me? Because I don't think I got it. I don't. Let me look here.
I'm so sorry, Charles. And I'm heavily medicated right now. I can't be responsible for anything I say or do tonight.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think I got it.
I, am going to look for it, I promise you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
send
write
it.
down
Send it
right
to me because I thought about it a few times, but
now.
I
I
just
know I got it. I know I got it.
yeah, I don't have anything for it. You dropped the ball, Dennis. I will look at it as soon as I do get it, though. I look for Charles. I look for Dewdrop lecture. I looked under your name. I'm not seeing it anywhere. Oh, he texted it to you. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You'll send it to me if you would, please. I don't remember getting anything like that.
I thought didn't I give you Justin's phone number also? I thought I did. I may not have though.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Maybe that was somebody asking for money and I sent him over to Justin.
I would like to see a dewdrop lecture because I would like to learn it and maybe give it at the appropriate time. So yeah, would appreciate that.
Hey Charles, by the way, I just finished up a paper that I think you might appreciate. I was thinking about sending it over to you if you're interested in reading it tonight.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed reading it.
Just let me know. But for the listeners out there that don't know, I do a lot of presentations. I travel all over doing presentations, and I've stopped doing canned presentations. So now what I do is I write a presentation for whatever the worshipful master wants me to write on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just finished up one for Perfect Union Lodge. I'm fixing to start writing one and I finished another one for another dinner that we'll be doing in August. But then I'm fixing to start doing one for Nat Washer Lodge. And pretty soon I'll be writing one for the new AMD Council up in Sherman, Texas. Whoop, whoop.
Nice.
Shout out to them for getting it going. They hollered at me, or one of the members hollered at me and asked me if I would come up and speak at their first meeting. And I won't be able to because it's the night of the reunion, but of our Scottish Rite reunion. But I am going to do their next meeting and make a point of it, just because I feel so honored and privileged to have that invite, and it's something I truly believe in, and I would love to be a part of helping them to get themselves established and flourishing up in the Sherman area with their new AMD council. So,
all right, Charles, I just
shout
got
out.
it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, Charles. I really am.
Yeah. I usually try to read things, but I didn't get that. Let's see. I was going to say something. What was it? Darn it. Totally lost my train of thought now. I was going to say something that was important. Oh, well. Guess it wasn't that important.
Sorry, I'll stop talking about myself.
No. I remembered it right up until I got the text. Then I looked at the text. And I forgot what I was going to say. So,
oh, shit. Yeah. That's the way I am, too. And that's probably what happened, Charles. I probably got your deal. I was going to read it, and then somebody else sent me a message or something. I looked at it, and I didn't go back. That's probably what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm guilty of that a lot, too. I heard... I'm not sure I'm reading this right. I heard that... Dang it. I heard that if you are... I had like a brain cell spark for a second. I thought I was going to remember what I was going to talk about. I heard that if you are affiliated with any job that has union, then you have paid your dues. No, that's not true. That's not correct. At least in the United States,
what?
Like you might.
What was that?
I've heard that if you are affiliated with any job that has a union, then you have paid your dues. Yeah, I not around here. Maybe like somewhere else.
You pay your dues to your union.
Yeah, that's separate.
But nowadays they're so weak they don't even do any good for you.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, man, I feel like I totally derailed myself. I was really gonna. It was like important. It was gonna be awesome, and I forgot entirely what it was gonna be. So that's annoying. Oh well. Hey, so going back to the charges against Jim Rumsey that were dropped. I think a lot of people weren't here when we talked about it originally. I'm just going to put this out Charles. There. If you were on the fence about coming to the summit because you're already planning on going to Waco in August and didn't want to make 2 trips, that's not something you got to worry about anymore because the charges were dropped.
Speaking of Charles, that's all you brothers from up there in Lubbock and the surrounding
Mm.
areas, now you can make one long trip in
There you
September
go.
and come on down and see us.
Yeah, so now you don't have to worry about uh, Waco. You just come straight to Corpus in September. So tell Fluff to
Exactly.
tell Fluff.
And you'll still get to see Jim. That's one thing that we hadn't really pushed a whole lot
Yeah,
because we didn't want to interfere with what was going on. But Jim Rumsey is one of our speakers at the Masonic Improvement Summit. We are
yeah.
so proud to have him on.
I remember what I was gonna say. I remember what I was gonna say. You're talking about presentations. Next month, I will be at Waco 92. I'll be giving a presentation on rites of passage. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh,
Caesar Rubio
nice.
was gifted a membership. Welcome, Caesar. You've been quiet. I didn't even know you're here. Let's
Glad
see.
you're here, Caesar.
Yep, nice. I just heard a kid. So let me go check on them real quick, and I'll be right back.
You're gonna leave this to me. Uh-oh.
Yes, I'll make sure they're not. It's not like a.
Well, then I'll do an ad for the summit then while
There we
you're
go.
gone.
There we go. I I don't want them to do like any gladiator stuff while I'm not in there. So
Those who will die will salute you. So yeah, just real quick because I don't read all the messages and stuff. Justin takes care of all that because we use his computer for the recording computer for Masonic Improvement. Oh, it's nice. You see his pants back there? That's funny. Everybody give him a hard time about his pants once he comes back. Tell him next time don't leave them on the shelf. Put them on. Anyways, so speaking of Jim Rumsey, um, he's going to be down at the summit. We've got Robert Park, Jim Rumsey, Bradley Kohanke, Chris Williams, Lucas Minton, Grand Senior Warden from or Grand Senior Deacon from Arkansas, and we have what? Stop! I can't hear you. Nobody can hear you. You're mute to the world.
senior
There
grand
you are.
deacon.
Yeah, Senior Grand Deacon. They say it backwards there, just like in New Mexico. We have the Deputy Grand Master of New Mexico as one of our speakers. And you know what? I'm tired of hiding it. We have the Grand Master of New Mexico is going to be our speaker at our festive board after the summit.
You
You
spoiled
know,
it.
I know I spoiled the surprise, but you know what? Enough with the surprises.
Yep.
This is a baller's ball right here.
Yep.
It's all these people. Oh, and I didn't even mention the keynote speaker, Kyle Walquist. If I didn't do that, his bobblehead would explode. Brothers, these are leaders that are boots on the ground. These guys are working day in and day out to make Freemasonry better. And they're not doing it in a way to be oppressive or or divisive within their jurisdictions or within Texas. They're doing it to help us improve as Masons so that we can help our lodges to improve as Masons. And then that way we can look better to and support our communities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these brothers are coming down to share a message of inspirational leadership. That's what this is all about. We are not officer leadership training. We don't do the same thing that Grand Lodge does with the education committee. I know, and Justin knows because I served on the committee and Justin supported the committee. We know this. This is different. This is stuff you will not get anywhere else. And this is coming straight from the mouths of people who have been in the trenches, working hard, trying to make a difference with your Freemasonry. And they care about your takeaway at the end. That's why we're all staying at the hotel next door to the Lexington. And everybody is going to be available and sitting around drinking wine and scotch and whiskey. And some will have rum with lime in it. Some may have margaritas. But we're all going to be sitting around drinking, smoking cigars, enjoying ourselves as the social gentlemen that we are, discussing all the topics that we want to discuss with some of the top minds in Freemasonry in this country.
Whatever,
Definitely within this region.
whatever whenever you go to these activities, these events, right? There's always something to learn. Sometimes you feel like you're in a high school environment, right? Sometimes you're in like a community college environment. We're talking about in regards to like what's being taught there, right? Um, and it's not, and you can learn something from any environment, but there's different levels, right? And sometimes things are a little more rigorous, a little more high level. This is going to be like Ivy League stuff. This is going to be top tier Masonic education. Like Dennis said, I mean, we got the Grand Master of New Mexico. What is Steve's official? I know it's like the one down from Grand Master. What is that called again?
Deputy Grand Master.
Deputy Grand Master Steve Almager, Deputy Grand Master New Mexico is going to be there. Lucas Minton, Senior Grand Deacon over in Arkansas. We're going to have Kyle Walquest, Right Marshal Jim Rumsey. We all know him, right? The Grand Junior Warden here in Texas. And then we're going to have Robert Park and Chris Williams and Bradley Kohanke. And who am I missing out here, Dennis? I feel like I'm forgetting one person.
Nope.
That's all? That's all? Okay, good. I mean, it's going to be...
Eight people. 8 different masterminds.
Yeah. It is going to be... And then after all that's over and your mind's blown, we're going to go sit on the USS... Well, first of all, we're going to have a nice dinner. But then we're all going to go sit on the USS Lexington and watch the Knights of Mecca confer a Master Mason's degree upon a...
yes.
I mean, it's just going to be... It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so
If you want to see what Texas Freemasonry degree work is supposed to look like, that's who you watch.
Yep.
They are the ones that go around and show everyone exactly what it's supposed to look like in full costume and everything.
They really rock the boat.
Ah!
One of the I can't pronounce that name. I'm sorry, but he's asking about the Scottish Rite. Like he would like to learn a little bit about it. You want to give your little elevator speech on it?
What's the question?
Please tell us about Scottish Rite, or tell. Well, he asked earlier to see. I need to learn about the Scottish Rite. Tell us about Scottish Rite, please. I keep saying please. He didn't say please, but he's. Yeah. So
no problem.
What's your elevator?
The Scottish Rite. So the Scottish Rite is an independent body of Freemasonry, and it has a degree system that goes from the third. It starts at the fourth and then goes up to the 32nd. So there's 29 degrees in the Scottish Rite, and actually there's 33. But the 33rd is honorary, and you only receive that degree if you've done so much service and support to the Scottish Rite over the years. The Scottish Rite really is the University of Freemasonry, and here's why. Especially here in Texas, and really in most of North America. The first 3 degrees are based on the legend Hiram-Abiff, which is translated through the Old Testament teachings, and so it's more of a Judaic, and then it moves into a Christian type feel to the way the degrees are. Well, the Scottish Rite understood the necessity of removing that from the focal point of Freemasonry, because all roads lead to Rome, right? But in seriousness, all religions came from one source, which is one God, and God is bigger than one religion. So we have our different religions in our different dogmas that we believe, and that's great. But the Scottish Rite challenges us to understand and rebuild our temple with the respect and love for our brother as another human being who also believes in God. Now, the Scottish Rite, just like the York Rite, is a series of degrees that teaches you how to rebuild your temple. So in the first 3 degrees, you go through this scenario to where you find yourself in a broken world. Well, through the Scottish Rite degrees, you're rebuilding that world, and you're coming out on top through all the lessons that it teaches you, and that's how you restore the internal temple so that you can affect the external temple, which is all God's creation. So, you always hear this, God's within us and this and that, and that's true. God is in us and part of us. And so how can we say that only a Christian can be in touch with God? Only a Muslim can be in touch with God. Only a Hindu is gonna find the blessings of God. We can't. We have to respect each other for all their different beliefs and understand that really it's one God that created all of us, one grand architect. And the University of Freemasonry takes you there like no other. You get all the education that you ever wanted to have in Freemasonry. When you don't get the deep dives in your lodge and in your York Rite and even sometimes in your AMD Council, you're going to get that deep dive in the Scottish Rite. That's what it's all about, and that's why it's always been dubbed the University of Freemasonry, because we're all about the deep dive. Yeah, the York Rite is about the deep dive down the hill, crashing and plummeting into
Remember, I was talking about those different levels. The York Rite is like the Yale of Masonic education, and the Scottish Rite is like the
Harvard,
the community college.
It's like the Harvard in Harvard Law. Oh my gosh, the Yale.
Nice.
I would say if anything, the Scottish Rite is more than Yale because we drink plenty of it.
I've never drank Yale.
Ale.
You said okay.
But,
all right.
So, but in reality, the degree system goes up to a 3rd degree in the Blue Lodge, and then it goes parallel, and one direction goes Scottish Rite, one direction goes York Rite. They tell a lot of the same stories throughout those degrees, but they're not all the same. Especially in the northern jurisdiction, it's a completely different set of degrees, different teachings. They have a more modern degree system in the northern jurisdiction, but they teach the same lessons. But it parallels and works on a different plane. That it's hard to understand unless you're in Freemasonry, but I can tell you, the Scottish Rite is where I found my people. I love the York Rite. I'm a member of the York Rite. I've always been. My mother's maiden name is York. I better be a member. But I can tell you, as far as depth, I got it in the Scottish Rite.
York Rite. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we told ourselves it wasn't going to be terribly long tonight, and that's what I told my wife too. So we should probably put a bow on it for the night. You have any final thoughts, Dennis?
I've probably said some things that offended a lot of people. As a disclaimer, I'm heavily educated.
I'm not.
But I don't think that I said anything that I don't stand on.
You can't.
I wouldn't say it if I didn't.
Nothing ever gets better without making a few people angry.
Right.
Nothing.
Well, and here's you asked me to put a bow on it, not you. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. We're
going to keep the conversation going now.
No. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mama's calling. He wants to wrap this up. So, anyways, I truly wouldn't say anything I don't believe. However, I'm always willing for anybody to challenge me in discussion and change my mind. That's the beauty of Freemasonry. No matter what side of the aisle we're on politically, no matter where we go to church, we can come together as gentlemen. We can speak our mind, and we know that we're not doing it as a personal dig. We're trying to find the best outcome for us as human beings and us in this fraternity so that we can make the most impact in our world. Because it's ultimately about leaving it better than we found it. And if we're not having the hard discussions to do that, then what the heck are we even here for?
Mm. Mm.
So I may have said some things that have disappointed some people, and that's okay. But keep in mind, I'm a working stiff too, and I work real hard. I work real hard to enjoy the things I enjoy. And I deserve everything that I give myself and my family. But everything I give myself and my family, I can assure you, Freemasonry takes 10 times that charity from me as well.
Yep.
I guarantee you, you won't find many Masons that put as much into this fraternity as I do. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying that because I may come across harsh, but I work hard for it and I give it away.
Yep. Like it. Oh, are you done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Keep it between the points, brothers.
You need to say, there you go. There you go. Now I know. Okay. Yeah. I'll just say it's been a good conversation tonight. Like we talked about some other stuff, which is fine. I think that's the whole point of a live, just to show that we're more than just figureheads, right? Just talking away on some video. But yeah, I mean, we said a few things that probably might upset some people. But if it upsets you, then maybe, I mean, sure, be mad at me if you want to. That's fine. But take that opportunity to ask yourself why it makes you mad, right? And maybe look at yourself too. And I'm not trying to be rude, but if talking about money makes you self-conscious, why does it make you self-conscious? So I probably made 4 people mad with that, but
right. Well, and not even 4 people. Sometimes we just struggle in life, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Life is ups and downs. It's ebbs and flows. You know, we're not always on top. I have my own struggle. You know, but you know, there's no reason because we're struggling at some point that we should live with a struggling mentality for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
We should always be working to get out of that hole and to jump onto the mountain.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not rich. I don't consider myself rich. I mean, 10 years ago, I was living in a single wide trailer, like an old single wide trailer. It was not a glorious lifestyle, right? But I educated myself and brought myself out of that. Me and my wife, and I mean, I think anybody, if they're not happy with where they're at, they can change that. It's not always easy. So, but
even with where you're at now, you and I have talked about things that you're talking about that's going to take you to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, because you're just because you're there doesn't mean that everything's good. It's time to start thinking, okay, now it's time to think about the next level. What can we do to take this another step?
I agree. Yeah.
You know, and that's how everybody should think.
Yeah. You know, you see these billionaires and millionaires, and a lot of people, I'm speaking for myself, I'm sure a lot of people probably thought the same thing. You know, there's got to be a point where they're content, right? And probably for most of them, yeah, that's probably why they're millionaires and not billionaires.
Their kids are, but the actual people that are doing it, mm-hmm. No. Yeah. It's always about that next deal, that next win, that next, you know, it's the thrill of the game.
And
it's life.
I'm sure the motivation is different for everybody. They may love money, or maybe addicted to the dopamine from winning, right? You know, being successful. But I think for a lot of people, it's just because they want to keep improving, right? To keep setting those goals and smashing those goals and moving on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I don't think there's anything greedy or selfish about that either. I keep seeing, and I know we're wrapping it up, but we keep seeing, I'm on TikTok a lot, and people are saying, you know, you got these billionaires like Elon Musk, Bill Gates has X amount. That's enough to give everybody $1 million. Well, that defeats the purpose.
Why?
Why? Yeah. First of all, why would you? Because you work for that. But if everybody has $1 million, guess what? Everything costs more now, right? You
Yep.
create. I mean, you devalue the currency massively, and everything's going to cost more, right? You're not going to be any richer. You're not going to.
Well, and that's the same way with the lodge. Why should it be one person's responsibility to carry the weight of the whole lodge?
Yeah. Why should it be one person's responsibility to carry the weight of the entire country financially, just because he or she made smart decisions?
You know what Bill Gates is doing with his wealth? He's trying to figure out how to filter water for people in Africa. Mm-hmm. He's doing humanitarian projects that you don't even think about in your daily life. We don't even give money to the guy that's on the side of the road. And I'm talking about the old man that you can tell worked hard all his life, and all of a sudden he found himself broke and living on the side of the road. We don't even stop and give him $1. But Bill Gates is over there trying to help an entire country to have running water and not live in filth.
Yeah.
And and people are gonna complain about what he does. Real leaders, they don't just try to win. They win so that they can help the rest of the world, so that they can pick up the rest of the world, but not just throw their money.
It's like the saying: teach a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach him the fish, and he'll, eat for the rest of his life. You can give everybody $1 million, but it's the old story, like someone wins the lottery and they're more debt a year later than
I was thinking the same thing. They don't even know what to do with it. Most
people wouldn't know what to do with it, right? And aside from the fact that your hamburger now costs $200 or whatever to get it, people are going to spend their money like crazy, and they'll be in more debt than they were. It'd be catastrophic, right? However, if you teach people how to fish, right? If you go to places where people need help, and provide them with the technology, or help them to lift themselves up by their own bootstraps, that will benefit them for generations to come.
If you think about it, think about the technology that Bill Gates created, that we're using right now, that the world is using. Think about where we would be if he had not done that for the world.
Yep.
Think about how the world benefits just from the software and stuff that he gives away for free. Windows comes with every laptop, every device that you purchase. It has some sort of Windows on it.
Well, that's not free though, but I know what you mean.
Well, sure it is. When you buy the laptop, it's on it, loaded up. So even though you paid for it through the price of the laptop, it's still on there.
Yeah.
It's still on there. It's not so far out of reach that you can't use it in your daily life.
That's true. All right, man. Well, that was a good one. Dennis, hang on after this one. Talk on Zoom real quick. And with that said, thanks everybody for hopping on, and we'll see you next week.
Keep it between the points, brothers.